Greetings, everybody. Welcome once again to yet another exciting program where we bring you the state of service delivery in Chitungwiza. This program is proudly brought to you by National Association of Youth Organizations, NAYO Zimbabwe, in partnership with Accountability Lab. This program is going to be running for the next 5 years, where we'll be discussing the issues that affect Chitungwiza and how we can make Chitungwiza a better place. And today, I have a very special guest in the house. I will be joining me for this conversation in the next 20 to 25 minutes. So continue to follow through here at Zim Daily. And my name is Titi Patience Mashir. And today, the guests I have, let me just introduce them briefly, and then they will later talk to us. We have Diana Kuvea from Chitrest, which is an organization which works with the community. And yes, of course, we have Mr. Love Momeya, the spokesperson for Chitungwiza Municipality. And yes, we have our resident joining us, Geraldine Vambe, in the house. Welcome, everybody.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. So yes, without wasting much of your time, I will start by Chitrest Director, as we know that they work with the community and they work with all the 25 wards in Chitungwiza. So I'll start with you, Chitrest, Miss Diana Kufeya, to give us a brief of the state of service delivery in Chitungwiza. Can you please unmute your mic first? We cannot hear you. Can you unmute your mic? Diana, Miss Diana, can you say something? Diana? Diana? Or maybe as we wait for you to make sure that your network, we are having network challenges, but yes, of course, the conversation will continue. Maybe we'll start with you, Geraldine, as a resident. What are the challenges that you are facing in terms of service delivery in Chitungwiza?
Say the service delivery in Chitungwiza on a scale of 1 to 10 is actually 2. There are so many roles that we expect the municipality to be doing: building regulations, public health, local roads, footpaths, playing fields, library, and environmental issues. But we are very disappointed that our municipality does none of that. The sewer problem in Chitungwiza is very, very terrible. I mean, it's like a time bomb. And it doesn't look like our municipality wants to do anything about it. And what causes it to worsen is that they're giving people stands on top of local sewer tanks. For example, the Key College
It seems today we are having network challenges. Like I said before, that today we are going to talk about the state of service delivery in Chitungwiza. And yes, of course, we are being joined by the Chitungwiza spokesperson, Mr. Love Momeya, Diana Kuvea from Chitrest, and of course, we have Geraldine Vambe, a resident. And like we said before, that here as NAYO and Accountability Lab, we are not here to blame anyone, but we are here to make sure that Chitungwiza becomes a better place. But how then do Chitungwiza becomes a better place. We have to talk about it. We have to talk about the challenges that we are facing and come up with solutions as Chitungwiza, so that make sure that we do not have to face all those challenges. So yes, of course, as we know that network challenges, we continue to have network challenges. Mr. Love Momeya, we thank God that you are here today as the spokesperson for Chitungwiza. What do you think are the challenges that you as Chitungwiza Municipality are facing in terms of delivering good service delivery in Chitungwiza?
Start this conversation. What I can simply say is that Chitungwiza is riddled with a lot of legacy issues, of which those are amounting to huge sums or debtors that are failing to pay what is due to council in terms of rates. As of 30 June, we have had a staggering 505 million a date that we are being owed as council. And on the backdrop of that is we have our creditors at 487 million. So what it simply means is that in order for service delivery to be effective, we need to meet halfway with the residents by means of remitting what is due to council, so that we can be in a position to deliver. So to say, if residents are failing to pay, it simply means that as council, we will face a huge task or a mammoth task in terms of service delivery. Just to bring you up to speed, if you are to look at our budget formulation exercise, where we would actually call residents to come and attend, those processes are not attended to our expectation. Thereby, if anything is to sell by, residents will be blaming us. So to say, in terms of budget, we are charging in local currency. So what it simply means is that as the year progresses, the rates that we could have actually come up with at the beginning of the year would actually be not sufficient, so to say, because of inflation. We are not charging in foreign currency. Thereby, our services from service providers, we are getting it in foreign currency. So what it simply means is that whatever we are charging our residents here will not suffice to cater for service delivery that is expected of us. So is for a simple reason, just to looking at fuel itself, you'll find out that probably we are charging residents in RTGS, and then if you are to purchase fuel, it's about $1.40 or $1.25 USD, of which you will be charging that in local SD. And then if you are to go and purchase fuel, be it petrol or diesel, using that currency, it simply means we have to top up. So in essence, we are nagging behind in terms of the rates, as well as what is expected in terms of foreign currency demand. I think, in short, that's what I can say. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor. And I can see that Ms. Vambe, you're back. And can you please continue with the conversation of what you were saying before network jealous?
Okay. I don't know which part you ended on, but I would like to just talk about the sewage. The sewage problem in Chitungwiza. Yes, I get what the spokesperson has spoken about service delivery having to pay in local currency. We pay in local currency, and they have to purchase in foreign currency. But sadly to say, for me, that is just now an excuse, because this problem started long before we had foreign currency and local currency issues. It's actually like a time bomb. It has been getting worse and worse and worse. Because over the years, I remember in the early 90s, in the 90s, 2000s, we were using local currency for everything, even to purchase. But service delivery was getting worse and worse and worse. And more stands were being given. Chitungwiza was growing, but the service delivery was getting less and less and less. And one thing I can't understand is why they keep on giving stands. I understand people need residents, but you keep giving stands more and more and more, and you don't have enough what you call this tanks and water to give to all those stands. Why can't you stop giving stands and at least try and deliver services to what we already have? Then when we fix that, then we can start relocating people's stands.
Thank you so much, Geraldine Lambe. We are here live at Zim Daily. To those who have just joined us, keep those comments coming as we are talking about the state of service delivery in Chitungwiza. Remember, we can make Chitungwiza a better place, but how do we do that? We make sure that we find out what are the problems or the challenges Chitungwiza is facing and make sure that we come up with solutions. Diana, are you still with us? Thank you so much, Atwell, for getting through. Atwell says, I have built my house and I pay all my rates and I don't have any arrears. Only that only area there was never a day when refuse was collected. That is Manyame Park. I think, actually, if you can hear me, it will be okay if you let us know which part of Manyame Park. Is it phase 1 or phase 2 or phase 3 or phase 4 or 5? So that we make sure that as the spokesperson is with us today, you will make sure that kumsoro. As we wait for Diana Kuvea, Hans Kopano Piwa Mastinzi, Kunyatsime Isu Takatenga 2007. That is CC Manamo giving us view as well. Maybe before, as we wait for Diana Kuvea, let me just talk to you, Mr. Love Momeya. We understand that also Chitungwiza, we do not have our own source of water. Is there any place, anything that you are doing as council to make sure that in the next years we will also have our own source of water? Because we understand that it's difficult for everyone in Chitungwiza to be having water because we do rely on Harare. And as well, people are asking the same questions that the council, is it the council? You continue to say there are people who are staying in Chitungwiza illegally. So how then are we going to make sure that we solve those issues, the illegal stands, to make sure that people also get the risk, make a shock to work badara also for those stands they are staying, to make sure that they can also have access to water, access to service delivery, all things that need to be done in Chitungwiza. Over to you.
Thank you. Thank you. First, I will need to address the issue of water. As you rightly put it, that we rely on Harare. As Chitungwiza, what we have done of late is that in terms of short-term measures, we have drilled boreholes since 2019 using devolution funds. And also we have other boreholes that has been drilled by our partners, Wild, Hunger Hill Fair, as well as SOS Children's Villages, among others. And then a medium term to it is that we are looking at Jonas, where we have drilled 10 bores somewhere in 2010 to get water from the aquifers there. But however, at the moment, there's the project has been stalled owing to some issues to do with Manyame, which say that they wanted to take over the project since it lies within their area of jurisdiction, of which us as Chitungwiza, we have since engaged the Ministry of Local Government so that we solve the impasse. And once that comes to fruition, we'll be in a position to get about 15 megaliters per day. That would assist us in supplying water to the northern suburb, that is areas around Makoni, Unit O, P, and then Unit B, going down to Unit KLM, thereabout. And then the long-term solution is to have our own water source, as we have been pushing forward the subject with the parent ministry to have Muda Dam constructed. If that is done, it simply means our water holes will come to an end. But at the moment, what it simply means is that the project has since been taken by government. It's now a government's baby. After us having done all the necessary prerequisites in terms of having all the documentation in place, but government has since taken over the project. I'd like to believe if you came across the adverts where government said it's Kunzidem, Darundale, that will be covering Harare, is Harare Norton, and then in Rua, it's now a national project. Same with the Muda Dam construction. That's what is happening at the moment. So, in terms of water situation, that is what is obtaining in Chitungwiza. However, with the little that we get from Harare, we have had serious challenges with some residents. We have developed a knack or a penchant of pilfering from council by bypassing meters, thereby shortchanging others. And then in terms of illegal stands, due to urban expansion or urbanization, we have experienced such over quite a long time now, where sometime early this year, when we experienced flash floods, the Ministry of Local Government, Public Works, Minister July Moyo visited Chitungwiza with his colleague, Minister of National Housing, Garwe, where they actually said the situation in Harare and Chitungwiza and other local authorities where some residents actually faced challenges in terms of flash floods. There's need for reallocation of those people. And we have since, as a local authority, written to the government so that they can actually avail more land for us to be in a position to accommodate the overflow of people in need of shelter in this town. So to say the issue of illegal stands or illegal settlers or informal settlers, what we've done so far as local authority is to ensure that we are spearheading the process to see whether some of these areas will be in a position to be regularized if they are not on top of sewer lines, if they are not in wetlands, under power lines, as well as on top of pipe waters. So if those areas are going to be regularized, should meet the specified criteria. I think that's what I can safely say at the moment. And then coming to, okay?
Yeah, yes, you can go on.
And then someone is saying the issue of stands in Nyatsime. What is happening of late is that most of the stands that haven't been allocated to the beneficiaries are those in the high density area that is across Nyatsime River. And what we've done so far, there's been issues in that area where council was being barred from partaking in activities following interdicts that were issued against us. And then, after having been allocated that land by the Ministry of Local Government, there's been issues to do with the Minister of Lands, which also allocated some stands to A2 farmers. And then Manyame now has also come to say some of the land that was given to Chitungwiza belongs to them. So in a way to solve the impasse, we have since been tasked to come up with a joint management committee comprising Manyame, Rural District Council and us. And currently talks or meetings are being held to see to it that we sanitize the area. And once the proclamation is made by the minister to see whether Nyatsime is going to be a local board or through delimitation exercise to come in 2022, it's either Nyatsime is going to fall under Chitungwiza or Manyame. So in essence, that is what is happening, but it's very unfortunate. We understand that residents or beneficiaries are in dire need of getting their stands so that they can build their dream houses. But as council, we are not saying what happened is it's none of our business. No, but what we are simply saying is we are still fighting to see into it that everyone who purchased a tent is going to get it at the end of the day.
Thank you so much, Mr. Love Mome. That was so insightful. But yes, there is this other question that you left out about a person from Miami Park who says, I've built my house and I pay all my rents and I don't have any arrears. Only its only area there was never a day when refused collection was collected, and this person says he or she stays in Miami Park. So why is it some other areas the guys where refuse collection they never go to those areas, and sometimes we see that you collect in other parts and sometimes you don't, and sometimes you give reasons why you didn't collect the refuse collection. There are the reasons, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. What happens is that in some areas where we haven't developed and people after having getting all the requisite papers to construct their properties, those areas were never serviced. So in instance, if they are not getting refuse collection service, it simply means it's either the roads are inaccessible, because in all areas where the roads are accessible, our team will always make sure that they visit and do their routine refuse collection. So probably the resident would want to share with us as to what could be the reason if it's not that it's very much inaccessible.
This one is what, Mr. Mayor. Okay, I'll then come back to you later because maybe people would want to know why are those roads not serviced yet they do pay their rents. But before we come back to you, let me, Diana, are you there?
Yes, I am here.
Oh, thank you so much. I think you can now intervene.
Okay, I'm close my camera because I take for a minute. Okay, I heard what person resident say. Honestly speaking, we cannot pay for the water that we are not getting. We have got we have got some places as residents. We cannot pay for that.
I can see that, Diana, you're burning. But then your network is so bad that we cannot hear you clearly.
Maybe
Please
she can
continue.
try.
Okay, so you can continue.
They even refuse to involve us as residents so that we to allow us
Your network, yeah.
we had fair that fair said that 19,000 each.
Your network is super bad, and I can see that you're burning. Maybe you can also use, you can do type or do something to make sure that the mayor hear your grievances, Mr. Mayor.
But up to now, we are in Africa. There's a
Too bad. This is Sim Daily. We are bringing you live the program we call as the State of Service Delivery in Chitungwiza. And yes, of course, my name is Patience Mashiri, your host. And remember that this program, we are only talking about the solutions that we can help Chitungwiza to be a better place. And today, yes, of course, we are joined by the spokesperson for Chitungwiza Municipality, Mr. Love Momeya. And yes, of course, Geraldine Vambe, a resident. And Chitungwiza Residence Trust Director, Miss Alice Kuvea. And yes, of course, Atwell Muzata, is that so? Atwell Muzata says that is not true. The place is accessible. Why are they not servicing the roads? I think they must refund us for services charged and not rented. The gentleman is not saying the truth. Day in, day out, food trucks are moving in and out. So yes, of course, continue to give us what you think as Chitungwiza residents so that we can help each other. And remember, here at Zoom Daily, this program is brought to you by NAYO Zimbabwe and Accountability Lab. And like we said before, we are not here to fight anyone, but we are here to help each other so that Chitungwiza can be a better place. And remember to continue to send through your messages via our Zoom Daily Facebook page, or you can talk to us on our Twitter. And Anzi, how can I talk to the mayor now? That's Atwell Muzata. I think you are very lucky today that the spokesperson for Chitungwiza Municipality is here and he can answer to you some of the questions in an honest manner, as we all know that he's always open to anyone who would want to hear any challenges that you are facing in Chitungwiza. And yes, of course, I can also see that Geraldine, you are burning with something. Can you talk to us?
Okay. Honestly, Mr. Spokesman, this issue of continuing to blame areas like Manyame service delivery on the fact that the roads have not been serviced and people have not, they're there illegally. How does a whole township sprout out without the municipality intervening if you're saying that the place has not been serviced yet? How can the council allow people to build in an unserviced place? And going forth, like the presenter said, we're not here to blame. Going forth, how are you going to start preventing that from happening? Because I honestly don't see how those are beautiful houses in Miami, and they've been growing over a long period of time. But you would like to say that the area is not serviced and there are no roads. How is that possible when we've got a functioning municipality? Because when you look at it, then you think maybe the government is right in taking over, on trying to take over the municipality, because you guys haven't been able to do it.
Thank you so much, Geraldine. And yes, of course, over to you, Mr. Vambe, as you will be answering Geraldine. May you please also try to address something that I wanted to ask as Chitungwiza Town Council as well. What do you think we should do as residents? Because we've been seeing that most people that built their houses illegally, so how come in council you'll be looking at it vanhu vachitovakawo gopedza and then later on mozoya muchipasa?
Okay, thank you. I would like to believe Mr. Ato and our residents on this platform might have misconstrued my statement when I said where refuse collection might be a challenge is the presence of inaccessible roads. That's what I said, rightfully. But in all areas that they do not face such challenges, we do collect. Probably Mr. Musata would share with me his area of location so that we can actually see into it as to what could be the challenge so that we can attend to it. And then coming to sprouting of settlements without the areas being serviced, I would like to believe that you all agree with me that in a residential setup, the moment one is equipped with the requisite papers that allows them to construct their houses, probably they will not wait for us to come in and do the necessary measures in terms of development. And that's why you see quite a number of areas are unserviced due to people dashing into those areas to actually start building. But in essence, in terms of development control, it simply means that people should follow our dictates in terms of any developments to take place or in terms of constructing their houses. And then coming to your question, you said when people are constructing their properties, where is council? So to say, if it's illegal, what you need to understand is that there are certain steps that one needs to take for him or her to start constructing his or her house. First, if you are issued an offer letter, it is also followed by other requisite documents like approved and signed layout plan, as well as building plan should also be approved, and the stage form should be also attached to the papers. And then that actually gives one room to start doing their business in terms of construction. But in Chitungwiza, we have had a challenge whereby people, as soon as they get an offer letter, they quickly jump on to start constructing their houses. Thereby, in essence, we can actually term those illegal because there is no proper procedure that has been followed. So, in other areas where some of these are taking place, as council, we actually deploy our team to seize their tools of the trade. And then in some cases, you find by the time you get to that area, those who will be doing the construction will take to their heels, thereby leaving whatever behind, and then we take it. And some will not follow on what could have been seized by council, but they go on to purchase some tools to continue constructing. And then after having done that, we also issue those people with stop development orders, which is also followed by an enforcement order to say what you're doing is illegal. But people have developed a thick skin to always want to do things against the dictates of the council, taking advantage of the constitution, which states that a fully built house cannot be demolished. And if a local authority intends to take such a drastic measure, it has to seek a court order. So, in essence, that's what has contributed to the mushrooming of informal settlements in Chitungwiza, and it's something that we are battling to thwart so that it won't happen in the near future. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor. Diana, are you available?
And Daisy.
Yes, of course. I think you can now talk.
Okay, I was saying the council is not doing office with us in court process because right now these are the same people who are kupama offer letters. These are the same people who kupama lease agreements, and then near garbage. They don't collect garbage, these people, but they can afford Bwana Maria kunoita illegally demolish dzimba, illegally demolish. Patiri kutengesera kuti tiwane mari dzemari. And the other thing, in April, they were given devolution funds around 32 million. Mayor vakataura kuti vatenga 2 refuse compactors at 119,000 each to Croco Motors. Vakataura kuti vatenga 2 ambulances to Julius Holdings. But up to now, we are in August, we haven't seen all those things. And to make matters worse, this is the time of COVID. We don't have an ambulance. We don't have a track to public works, kune scooter ndoye kunzi kugadzira road. So where is Maria Serpenda? We need
I think we have also once again lost Diana, as she seems to be burning with the issues from Chitungwiza. And like we said before, that we are not here to fight, but to make sure that Chitungwiza can be a better place. But yes, of course, this question is for you again, Mr. Mayor, as we are about to round up, to make sure that we come up with solutions to what we can do as Chitungwiza. So,
I'm speaking right now, when 4 months ago. So, Chitungwiza needs to be accountable. We need transparency in the public finance. As citizens have been writing letters, my request letters for information, information, workers, information on the database, information on how you are allocating steps, but you don't reply. We have over 45,000 houses that are not regularized, but murikutema kuti hamuna mari yefuel. You can't pay the workers. Please, ngatibatsiranei kushanda. You don't want to work with residents. Munoda kuzviita zvinhu zvenyu neti because pane kachitsotsi kamunenge muchingoita so. Come and let's work together. We are the ratepayers. Kuti muwane mari mugare kumaofisi kwamuri. Isusu kubhadhara mari. But we need transparent. We need to be accountable. And we need instant access to information. What the sense no kumbi. I thank you.
Thank you so much, Madam Diana Kufea from Chitrest. And yes, of course, we continue to have those challenges of network. So before we come up with the solution, this is the question for you, Mr. Mayor. Do you think it's difficult to have good service delivery because of maybe politicizing, because you understand that most of the councillors are from MDCA, and yes, of course, the management for council is from ZANU-PF. That is what we all know. So do you think politics is at play to make sure that we cannot have a good service delivery in Chitungwiza?
Okay, thank you. First and foremost, let me address the issues that has been raised by Alice there. For the record, she needs to understand one thing, that our collection rate has been hovering around 30 to 36% for about 3 years. So it's always our plea that as a local authority, we expect as residents associations to be working closely with us since we service the community. That's our major drawback. So what it simply means is that if we are pulling in different directions, we can't make it. Residents associations should be there to ensure that they actually lobby their membership to pay. As I earlier on alluded to, that service delivery is hinged on rates being paid religiously. But you will see in Chitungwiza that quite a number of people have developed tendencies of not wanting to remit something to council. We've got 3 categories there. First, there are those who are still pondering if ever they are going to have a wave in terms of what transpired in 2013, whereby government actually said that rates should be actually be waived for the residents. And then the second category is that of those few who are paying, but whatever they are paying cannot suffice to cater for the whole population in Chitungwiza. And then the third category is for those people who are very much unwilling to pay to council. They see, they think they do not have any obligation to pay to council, whereby they will simply say council is not offering us any services. But you need to understand that a service comes after you have paid something towards it. And then coming to the issue of devolution, yes, we have made inroads in terms of purchasing 2 refuse compactors. We are actually expecting them either this week or next week. The delay in delivery was due to COVID issues because they were being assembled in SA. And then same with the issue of ambulances there. It's not to say the money was misused, but the money has been used for its rightful purpose. It's only that delays have been encountered. And then coming to the issue of refuse collection, I do disagree with what Alice has been saying, that we are not collecting refuse. If you follow, we've got our door-to-door refuse collection as well as for commercial. In any case that we are failing to collect refuse on a particular day to any sections or units, we actually notify residents that this week or tomorrow we are failing to collect refuse owing to fuel challenges. And then coming to issue of regularization, probably she wasn't in the picture when I earlier on mentioned that regularization doesn't happen just like that, but there are certain procedures that has to be followed. And as a local authority, we're working towards it to see into it that all properties that can be regularized are going to be regularized, while it's those that cannot be, as I said, falling on the categories that I earlier on mentioned, they won't be regularized, and that is the bottom line. There are no 2 ways about it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor. But then you didn't answer my question.
which is, bring it, because I've had quite a number of issues to deal with. What's your question?
It's okay. Zvabva zvaita kunge ndiri kupisana nemundati izvo. Kufunga kwenyu, politics dziri kubata here zvekare kuti muchitungwiza musave neservice delivery yakanaka. Nekuti for the past weeks we've been inviting councillors from different political parties, both MDCA and ZANU-PF. So they also say sometimes sabotage chaiyo ndo iri kuitika kuchitungwiza because the hierarchy yechitungwiza municipality is mostly led by ZANU-PF and most of the councillors are from MDCA. So sometimes kurwisana kwekuda kusabotejana ndokuri kukonzeresa kuti chitungwiza isave neservice delivery yakanaka. So imi saspokesperson munoti kudii nazvo?
It's unfortunate that I'm not best placed to comment on political issues. What I'm here for is the issue to do with the service delivery that is bordering on council management as well as residents' needs. So for me to be delving into politics, it's not under my purview rather. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. So yes, of course, when the program is getting hotter and hotter, and then time, so but I think, as you all know, that National Association of Youth Organization and Accountability Lab brings you this program to make sure that we talk about the challenges that Chitungwiza is facing and how we can come up with solutions. So as we are closing up, we would want to hear from you, Geraldine Mambe. What do you think the council should do to make sure that we have good service delivery in Chitungwiza?
Okay, first and foremost, I know maybe it was a bit tricky for Mr. Mayor to answer your last question, but we all know that is the issue. So first of all, maybe we can balance out the top hierarchy of management within the council. So the actual ruling council, the actual NDC members inside the NPS on top in the top hierarchy, and then turn of zero fund thing. And also those letters of those irregularized houses that you are saying people got offer letters. We would like those people that gave those offer letters in areas to be held accountable, to be arrested, to be held accountable. And we would also like, as residents, the only reason why some people don't say is because they actually realize that even if they say nothing happens, and we understand your predicament and where you're coming from, but maybe you can start showing a bit of show of faith towards the residents, because then the residents would understand. And before, when we were growing up, if you didn't pay, they would come and close Mvura. So that's the only way you can get your money. But as long as people see kuti mvura iripo zveshuwaka havaneki nekubhadhara, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, sorry. I was saying, I know you couldn't hear me. I was saying, thank you so much, Geraldine, for your intervention, and thank you so much for that. And I hope the council will take that into consideration. But then over to you, Mr. Mayor, what do you think residents and residents association and everybody in Chitungwiza who would want to make Chitungwiza a better place, what should we do to council so that we make sure that we have good service delivery in Chitungwiza?
Due to COVID, we were very much unable to conduct our road shows or district or ward-based meetings where we would want to come to the drawing board and see where we are missing each other with the residents. I would like to believe that they've got their own issues that they would see or look forward to council that it can actually do to improve service delivery. We are also having the same view that residents should also play their part. So we need to find each other. This game of blame game, it won't take us anywhere. And then if you are to look at the pushing factor, like Geraldine has highlighted, that back then people were forced to pay due to disconnection of water, but at this time we won't be in a position to do that because of low supplies, and then in some cases people are vandalizing council property. So to say, it's up to an individual to know that muharara mugarwe mahara naika. So if we come together and fight, surely we can win. I think that's what we need to do. We need a spirit of unison, not to pull in different directions. If that happens, then Chitungwiza will return to its old glory days.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor. And Alice, are you still there?
Yes, I'm here.
Yes, can you please give us what you think Chitungwiza Council and the residents, and yes, of course, you, the residents associations, should do to make sure that Chitungwiza becomes a better place?
Okay, thank you very much. Just like what being especially where they are led by because we are actually still feeling it for many hours to get home.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Alice. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us today. And remember, we are not doing these programs to fight each other. We are not here to expose anyone, but we want to make sure that Chitungwiza becomes a better place. But how do we do this? We talk to residents, we talk to councillors, we talk to Chitungwiza Municipality to make sure that one day Chitungwiza will have its own source of water. Chitungwiza will have a good smell. Remember, when you get to St. Mary's police station, so yes, thank you so much, Mr. Mayor, for joining us today, and thank you so much, Geraldine. Once again, thank you so much to you, Alice Dikuvea. We continue to have this conversation to make sure that one day, of course, we will be able to have something good in Chitungwiza. And remember, let's not politicize the development of Chitungwiza. Let's work together as a community, because remember, whatever faces someone who belongs to ZANU-PF, also someone from MDC faces the same challenges. We all do not have our own source of water. We all need garbage to be collected. But how do we do this? We have to come together and make sure that Chitungwiza becomes a better place. I thank you so much, and I appreciate you for joining us today. Until we meet again and continue with this conversation that is next Tuesday. Yeah, and thank you so much, National Association for Youth Organizations, and yes, of course, to you, Accountability Lab, for bringing in this special program to make sure that Chitungwiza becomes a good and exciting place. Until we meet again, a goodbye, everybody.